Hey folks, SSJPACMAN here, bringing you another computer video. Today we're going to be talking about RTX and ray tracing in general, and then what AMD needs to do to be competitive with their next high-end GPUs. So starting this off, we've got here a video from, let's see, when is this from? 2016. From this Imagination Power VR company. Um, and I've heard some other people talk about this video, so I went through and watched it. And what they're basically comparing here is the ray tracing on this little mobile GPU thing that they've created versus the 980 Ti. Now, I know that 980 Ti is obviously not a ray tracing card, but I just want to point out that they were able to do this on a mobile GPU, and it was about 5 times faster than the 980 Ti at it. And then we're going to go back to 2012 after this video, and we're going to talk about Kepler. So just take a listen to this.
Image. In the time that we've now rendered 7 passes, we well, on the CUDA accelerated GPU, we've rendered 47, 48, 49, 50, 52, 53. So 10 passes versus 57 passes. We're more than 5 times faster. But that's only half the story.
So
the GPU that we're running is a mid-range smartphone GPU.
So obviously there's not a whole lot of power going on there. I'm pretty sure that the RTX cores are nothing special, and I think that any company is going to be able to come out with them if they are anything specialized at all. But as far as it goes, a 980 Ti versus a 2080 Ti, we're talking about a 100% improvement, so that would only be 2.5 times faster just on CUDA with no drivers specifically for it or anything like that. So I don't think that RTX is as intensive as everybody's acting like it is, especially if you have some specialized processes for doing it. So then we're going to jump over to The Verge, and they were doing a video from NVIDIA's Kepler reveal. We got Jensen Huang talking about real-time ray tracing, and this is all the way back in 2012 on the Kepler architecture. So let's just listen to Jensen Huang, what he has to say about Kepler.
Is we're finally able, with Kepler's GPU, do ray tracing in real time.
Kepler, ray tracing in real time. This is their demo.
And so notice,
2012. I can assure you that Kepler to a 2080 Ti is far over a 5x CUDA rasterization upgrade. So they were able to do ray tracing in 2012 with Kepler. They can definitely do it on traditional stream processors or CUDA cores. So I don't understand what all the hubbub is about. I think the RTX cores are nothing at all, not anything special, because they were doing it all the way on Kepler in real time. This is real time ray traced. So that's all I have to say about ray tracing. And I'm sure that AMD will be able to do it just fine on their next generation GPUs. I'm not sure if it'll come out on Navi or not, but I think it will. I think they're going to be able to shoehorn that in without a problem. So then we're going to talk about the comparison of TFlops between the VEGA 64 and the 1080 Ti. 1080 Ti has only 11.3 teraflops of compute versus the VEGA 64 has between 12.66 and 13.7, depending on if you have it liquid cooled or not. And also there's some other things, there's some BIOS mods and things of that nature that you can do to make it act like this. So I went with 13 TFlops as my numbers. So 13 to 11.3 between the 1080 Ti and the 1080 rather. So 9 teraflops versus 13 teraflops. We're looking at a 1.4 multiplier. So for every 1 and a 1.4 TFlops of VEGA performance, you get equivalent to 9, or you get the equivalence between the 1080 and the VEGA. So doing this as a calculation, if we can assume that VEGA performs pretty similar to a 1080 right here, VEGA right below it, so they perform pretty similar to each other. And then if we look at this one here, you can see there's the VEGA 64 liquid cooled just beating the 1080. So as far as it goes, TFlop to TFlop, we see the equivalency between 9 teraflops versus 13.7 on VEGA, or 13 on VEGA. So my assumption is the next GPU architecture from AMD is going to have at least 19 teraflops of performance to equivalate the 2080 Ti. And so all I did was times 13.4 TFlops by 1.44444 continuing, and that gave me the 19 to 21 teraflops, 19 being on the low side, just losing to it. 21 should beat it based on how things have gone in the past. So with that being said, I would imagine that their equivalent of a Vega 56 would be around 15 to 17 teraflops. Now, whether or not AMD is going to hit these numbers, I'm not sure, because we would be talking about almost a 50% increase in the amount of raw compute capability. I don't know if 7 nanometer is going to provide that to us. I don't think that it's going to be quite enough. They'd have to get a lot of speed increase as well, and I don't know if Navi is going to have all that. But I do think they're going to somehow shoehorn in the RTX stuff into Navi. I don't know how, but the bottom line is Kepler could do it in real time. These guys with their mobile GPU could do it in real time, so I don't see any reason why AMD wouldn't be able to do it in 2019, no problem. But I think that if they just go ahead and work on a straight raster performance GPU and hit that 21 TFlops, that they will be able to beat the 2080 Ti. We're looking at, in gaming, between the Vega 64 liquid cooled and the 2080 Ti, we're looking at about 70 average percentage, whatever this is, about a 70% or 70 point delta between the two, which is a little over 50% faster than this guy here. So I think that they could do it. I just don't know if they're going to be willing to, or if they're going to sit on their laurels for another generation, or what they're going to do. But that's what I think AMD needs to do to be able to get competitive with NVIDIA on this, because wow, that's a lot. You know, that's a solid 50% increase. I've been using this video cards benchmark.net for forever. It always seems to be relatively accurate. I've been watching it since long before the 970 series. So I consider these pretty accurate benchmarks. They're across a lot of samples. That one's only across 3, but this one here, these two, 6, 403, because it's the Pro. So, but anyway, needless to say, that's what AMD's got to do to be able to compete at the high end. I don't know if Intel is going to be able to get close to that with their first graphics card. I mean, it just depends on how good their drivers are, I guess, because in the teraflops, AMD crushes it, but they just don't get the performance out of it. So, anyhow, that's all I have to say on this. If you liked the video, like it, and if you didn't like the video, you know what to do. But subscribe if you want to see more, and yeah, we'll see what they come out with in the next generation. Thanks for watching.